No Longer at Ease is a 1960 novel by Nigerian author Chinua Achebe. It is the story of an Igbo man, Obi Okonkwo, who leaves his village for an education in Britain and then a job in the Nigerian colonial civil service, but is conflicted between his African culture and Western lifestyle and ends up taking a bribe. The novel is the second work in what is sometimes referred to as the African Trilogy, following Things Fall Apart and preceding Arrow of God, though Arrow of God chronologically precedes it in the chronology of the trilogy. Things Fall Apart concerns the struggle of Obi Okonkwo's grandfather Okonkwo against the changes brought by the British. The book's title comes from the closing lines of T.S. Eliot's poem, Journey of the Magi. Where return to our places, these kingdoms. But no longer at ease here, in the old dispensation. With an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death. Summary. The novel begins with the trial of Obi Okonkwo on the charge of accepting a bribe. It then jumps back in time to a point before his departure for England and works its way forward to describe how Obi ended up on trial. The members of the Umuofia Progressive Union (UPU), a group of Umuofia natives who have left their villages to live in major Nigerian cities, have taken up a collection to send Obi to England to study law, in the hope that he will return to help his people by representing them in the colonial legal system, particularly with respect to land cases. However, Obi switches his major to English and meets Clara Okiki, a student nurse, for the first time during a dance. Obi returns to Nigeria after 4 years of studies and lives in Lagos with his friend Joseph. He takes a job with the scholarship board and is almost immediately offered a bribe by a man who is trying to obtain a scholarship for his sister. When Obi indignantly rejects the offer, he is visited by the girl herself, who implies that she will bribe him with sexual favors for the scholarship, another offer Obi rejects. At the same time, Obi is developing a romantic relationship with Clara, who reveals that she is an Osu, an outcast by her descendants, meaning that Obi cannot marry her under the traditional ways of the Igbos. He remains intent on marrying Clara, but even his Christian father opposes, albeit reluctantly due to his desire to progress in the heathen customs of pre-colonial Nigeria. His mother begs him on her deathbed not to marry Clara until after her death, threatening to kill herself if her son disobeys. When Obi informs Clara of these events, Clara breaks the engagement and intimates that she is pregnant. Obi arranges an abortion which Clara reluctantly undergoes, but she suffers complications and refuses to see Obi. Obi sinks deeper into financial trouble, partly due to poor planning on his end, in part due to the need to repay his loan to the UPU and to pay for his siblings' education, and in part due to the cost of the illegal abortion. Though set several decades after Things Fall Apart, No Longer at Ease continues many of the themes from Achebe's first novel. Here, the clash between European culture and traditional culture has become entrenched during the long period of colonial rule. Obi struggles to balance the demands of his family and village for monetary support while simultaneously keeping up with the materialism of Western culture. Furthermore, Achebe depicts a family continuity between Ogbufi Okonkwo in Things Fall Apart and his grandson Obi Okonkwo in No Longer at Ease. Both men are confrontational, speak their minds, and have some self-destructive tendencies. However, this aggressive streak manifests itself in different ways. Where his grandfather was a man of action and violence, Obi is a man of words and thoughts to the exclusion of action. The story portrays the theme of corruption. No Longer at Ease is a novel written by Nigerian author Chinua Achebe. It was first published in 1960 and is the second novel in Achebe's African trilogy, following Things Fall Apart. The novel explores the challenges faced by the protagonist, Obi Okonkwo, as he navigates the complexities of post-colonial Nigeria. Here is a full summary of No Longer at Ease. Setting. The novel is primarily set in Lagos, Nigeria, during the 1950s, a time of great change and transition as Nigeria gains independence from British colonial rule. Characters. Obi Okonkwo, the protagonist, a young Igbo man who has been educated in England and returns to Nigeria to work as a civil servant. Clara, Obi's girlfriend, who is from a mixed-race background. Mr. Green, Obi's boss in the civil service, who is a British colonial officer. Christopher Obi, Obi's father, a traditional Igbo man who is proud of his son's education but is also worried about his choices. Joseph, Obi's cousin and a close friend, who represents the traditional Igbo values and customs. Mr. Mark, a fellow civil servant and friend of Obi's, who introduces him to corrupt practices. Amos, Obi's roommate in Lagos, who represents the struggle of the common Nigerian. Summary. The novel begins with Obi Okonkwo's return to Nigeria after completing his education in England. He has been awarded a scholarship by the Nigerian Scholarship Board to study law in England but instead chooses to study English literature, a decision that creates tension with his family, especially his father. Obi is excited to return to Nigeria as a highly educated and modern man. He is full of idealism and wants to contribute to the development of his country. He takes a job in the civil service and quickly realizes the challenges and moral dilemmas that come with it. Obi is assigned to work in the Native Administration Department, where he is responsible for managing the affairs of a region called Umuofia. One of the central conflicts of the novel is Obi's relationship with Clara, a woman he meets in Lagos. Clara is from a mixed-race background, and their relationship faces resistance from both her family and Obi's family due to cultural and racial differences. Despite these challenges, Obi continues his relationship with Clara. As Obi becomes more involved in his work, he faces pressure to accept bribes and engage in corrupt practices, which are common in the civil service. Initially, he resists these temptations, but the allure of a better life and the pressure from his peers lead him down a morally compromised path. Obi's corruption comes to light, and he is put on trial for accepting a bribe. During the trial, his idealism clashes with the harsh reality of Nigerian society, and he realizes the extent of the corruption that permeates every level of government. Ultimately, Obi is found guilty and sentenced to prison. The novel ends with Obi in prison, reflecting on his choices and the loss of his idealism. The title, No Longer at Ease, reflects Obi's sense of dislocation and moral struggle as he grapples with the challenges of post-colonial Nigeria. Overall, No Longer at Ease is a powerful exploration of the tension between tradition and modernity, personal ethics and societal pressures, and the challenges faced by individuals trying to navigate a changing and often corrupt world. Narrative structure techniques are essential elements in storytelling that authors use to shape the way a story is presented to the reader or audience. These techniques can significantly impact the reader's understanding, engagement, and emotional connection with the narrative. Here are some common narrative structure techniques and their significance. Linear structure. Significance. In a linear narrative structure, the story progresses chronologically from beginning to end. This straightforward approach is easy for readers to follow, making it ideal for simple stories or those where the passage of time is crucial. It allows for a clear cause and effect progression. Nonlinear structure. Significance. Nonlinear narratives, where events are presented out of order or with frequent flashbacks, can create intrigue and mystery. By revealing information in a fragmented way, authors can keep readers engaged as they piece together the story's puzzle. It can also reflect the complexity of memory and human experience. In media res, starting in the middle. Significance. Beginning a story in the middle of action or conflict can immediately grab the reader's attention. It often prompts questions about how the characters arrived at this point, encouraging readers to continue to find out what happened before and after the initial scene. Frame story. Significance. A framed story involves a narrative within a narrative. It can provide context, introduce multiple perspectives, or create layers of storytelling. This technique allows for thematic exploration and can help the reader see connections between different parts of the story. Multiple points of view (POV). Significance. Switching between different character perspectives can offer a more comprehensive understanding of the story's events, emotions, and motivations. It allows readers to see the same events from various angles and can lead to a richer and more nuanced narrative. Epistolary letter writing format. Significance. Telling a story through letters, diary entries, or other documents can create an intimate connection with the characters and a sense of immediacy. Readers get direct access to characters' thoughts and emotions. Stream of consciousness. Significance. Stream of consciousness narration provides insight into a character's inner thoughts and mental processes. It can create a more intimate and immersive reading experience, helping readers connect with a character on a deeply personal level. Flashbacks and flash-forwards. Significance. These techniques can reveal important backstory or future events that impact the main narrative. They create a sense of anticipation and suspense, as readers want to understand how these glimpses of the past or future relate to the present. Circular structure. Significance. A circular narrative structure begins and ends with the same or similar events, creating a sense of closure and reflection. It can emphasize themes of repetition, cycles, or personal growth by showing how characters have evolved or come full circle. Parallel plotlines. Significance. Parallel plotlines can run concurrently, often involving different characters or settings. They allow for the exploration of multiple storylines and thematic connections, demonstrating how different aspects of the narrative are interrelated. In summary, narrative structure techniques are powerful tools that authors use to shape the storytelling experience. Each technique has its significance in enhancing plot complexity, character development, thematic exploration, and reader engagement. The choice of structure depends on the author's goals and the story's themes and narrative requirements. No Longer at Ease is a novel by Nigerian author Chinua Achebe, published in 1960. The story is set in post-colonial Nigeria and revolves around the life of its protagonist, Obi Okonkwo. Here is a character sketch of Obi Okonkwo and a few other important characters from the novel. Obi Okonkwo. Obi is the central character of the novel and is a young Igbo man who has been educated in England. He returns to Nigeria to work as a civil servant in the colonial administration. Obi represents the clash of traditional Igbo values and Western modernity. He struggles with issues such as corruption, cultural identity, and moral dilemmas as he navigates his career and personal life in a changing Nigerian society. Isaac Okonkwo. Isaac is Obi's father. He is a traditionalist who adheres to Igbo customs and values. He is disappointed by Obi's decision to work for the British colonial government and expects him to uphold their cultural traditions. Clara Okiki. Clara is a complex character who becomes Obi's love interest. She is an Osu, a social outcast in Igbo society, due to her family's history. Clara is a teacher and is caught between her love for Obi and the societal norms that forbid their relationship. Christopher Obi. Christopher is Obi's older brother who has followed a more traditional path, becoming a priest in the Christian church. He represents the clash between Christianity and traditional Igbo religion in the novel. Mr. Green. Mr. Green is Obi's boss in the civil service. He is a British colonial officer and represents the colonial authority in Nigeria. He plays a significant role in Obi's moral dilemma as he encounters corruption and bribery within the administration. Joseph. Joseph is Obi's friend and co-worker. He is a symbol of the corrupt practices that were prevalent in the Nigerian civil service during that time. Joseph's actions and influence test Obi's values and integrity. Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark is a British colonial officer who offers Obi a scholarship to study law in England. He is well-intentioned but unaware of the challenges and complexities Obi faces as he tries to balance his Igbo heritage with his Western education. These characters collectively embody the themes of cultural clash, colonialism, corruption, and personal moral dilemmas in post-colonial Nigeria. No Longer at Ease explores the tension between tradition and modernity in a rapidly changing society and serves as a thought-provoking commentary on the challenges faced by individuals like Obi as they navigate this transition. Let's discuss some of the central themes explored in Chinua Achebe's novel, No Longer at Ease. Cultural clash and identity. One of the central themes of the novel is the clash between traditional Igbo culture and Western modernity. Obi's return to Nigeria after being educated in England places him at the crossroads of these two worlds. He grapples with the tension between his Igbo heritage, which is deeply rooted in tradition and customs, and the Western values and ideas he has acquired during his education. Colonialism and its legacy. The novel is set in post-colonial Nigeria, and the shadow of British colonialism looms large. Obi works for the colonial administration, and through his experiences, the novel explores the lingering effects of colonial rule on Nigerian society. It highlights issues like corruption, the influence of colonial institutions, and the struggle for independence. Corruption and moral dilemma. Corruption is a pervasive theme in the novel. Obi is confronted with bribery and unethical practices in his job, and he must decide whether to uphold his personal principles or succumb to the pressures of a corrupt system. This theme reflects the broader issue of corruption that plagued many post-colonial African nations as they sought to establish stable governments. Love and social class. Obi's romantic relationship with Clara, an Osu, raises questions about social class and cultural taboos. Their love is challenged by the rigid social hierarchies and prejudices present in Igbo society. This theme explores the complexities of love and relationships in the face of societal norms and expectations. Religion and tradition. The novel delves into the tension between traditional Igbo religious beliefs and the influence of Christianity brought by the colonialists. Christopher's role as a Christian priest and the clash between the two belief systems represent the broader conflict between indigenous cultures and the religions imposed by colonial powers. Personal responsibility and integrity. Obi's personal journey involves a profound moral dilemma. He must decide whether to accept a bribe that could improve his financial situation but compromise his integrity. His struggle reflects the broader theme of personal responsibility and the consequences of one's choices. Alienation and displacement. Obi's return to Nigeria from England results in a sense of alienation and displacement. He no longer feels completely at ease in either culture, highlighting the isolation that can come with trying to bridge the gap between two worlds. These themes collectively paint a rich and complex portrait of post-colonial Nigerian society, where individuals like Obi must grapple with the challenges of modernity while navigating the cultural and moral dilemmas of their heritage. Chinua Achebe skillfully explores these themes through the experiences of his characters, making No Longer at Ease a thought-provoking and relevant work of literature. Let's delve deeper into the analysis of Chinua Achebe's No Longer at Ease. This analysis will focus on key elements of the novel, including its characters, plot, style, and broader social and cultural commentary. Plot and narrative structure. The novel is structured as a Bildungsroman, a coming-of-age story, as it follows the journey of the protagonist, Obi Okonkwo, from his return to Nigeria to his eventual downfall. The narrative is presented in a linear fashion, chronicling Obi's experiences and decisions, which gradually lead him into moral and personal crisis. The plot centers around a series of moral dilemmas Obi faces, culminating in his trial and conviction for bribery, which ultimately leads to his tragic downfall. Characters and character development. Obi Okonkwo serves as the focal point of the novel and undergoes significant character development. He begins as an idealistic and optimistic young man but becomes increasingly conflicted as he navigates the complexities of his personal and professional life. Clara Okiki represents both a love interest and a symbol of societal conflict. Her status as an Osu, and her relationship with Obi, highlights the tensions between tradition and modernity in Igbo society. Supporting characters, such as Mr. Green, Joseph, and Christopher, serve as foils to Obi and represent various aspects of the post-colonial Nigerian landscape, including colonial authority, corruption, and religious tension. Themes and social commentary. Achebe uses the novel to comment on the legacy of colonialism in Nigeria. He portrays the lasting impact of British rule on the country, including the persistence of corruption and the cultural tensions it created. The theme of corruption is pervasive throughout the narrative, and Obi's moral struggle reflects the broader societal issue of corruption that plagued many newly independent African nations. The clash between tradition and modernity is a central theme. Obi's personal journey mirrors the larger cultural conflicts faced by Nigeria during its transition from colonial rule to independence. Style and language. Achebe's writing style is characterized by its simplicity and directness. He uses clear, concise prose to convey complex themes and emotions. The novel incorporates elements of Igbo culture and language, adding depth and authenticity to the narrative. Achebe's use of Igbo proverbs and idioms enriches the storytelling. Symbolism and imagery. Symbols such as the Egwugwu, masquerades, and the Osu caste system carry cultural and social significance, serving as powerful symbols of tradition and discrimination. The palm wine incident in the novel symbolizes the temptations and challenges that Obi faces as he grapples with his own values and the allure of Western materialism. Social relevance and legacy. No Longer at Ease remains relevant today as it explores issues of corruption, cultural identity, and the consequences of personal choices. Chinua Achebe's broader body of work, including this novel, played a pivotal role in reshaping African literature and providing a platform for African voices and perspectives in the global literary canon. In conclusion, No Longer at Ease is a powerful and thought-provoking novel that continues to resonate with readers due to its exploration of universal themes within the specific context of post-colonial Nigeria. Achebe's masterful storytelling and insightful social commentary make it a significant work in world literature. Let's further examine and discuss key aspects of Chinua Achebe's No Longer at Ease in more detail. Colonial legacy and post-colonial Nigeria. The novel vividly portrays the impact of British colonialism on Nigerian society. It highlights how colonialism disrupted traditional African cultures and imposed Western values and institutions. Obi's role in the colonial administration underscores the complex relationship between the colonizers and the colonized. His internal struggle reflects the broader challenges faced by a generation of Africans trying to reconcile their Western education with their African identity. Corruption and moral dilemmas. Achebe uses the character of Obi to explore the pervasive issue of corruption in post-colonial Nigeria. Obi's initial resistance to bribery and corruption is gradually eroded by the demands of his job and societal pressures. The novel raises important ethical questions about personal responsibility and the choices individuals make when faced with moral dilemmas. Obi's eventual acceptance of a bribe and his subsequent trial serve as a cautionary tale about the corrosive nature of corruption. Cultural conflicts and identity. The theme of cultural conflict is central to the novel. Obi, who is educated in England, finds himself caught between two worlds. He experiences a sense of alienation as he tries to navigate the tensions between his Igbo heritage and Western education. Clara's character embodies the complexities of cultural identity. Her status as an Osu and her relationship with Obi highlight the discrimination and prejudice that persist in Igbo society. Religious and spiritual tensions. Achebe explores the clash between traditional Igbo religious beliefs and Christianity introduced by the colonialists. This theme is embodied in Obi's brother, Christopher, who becomes a Christian priest. The tension between indigenous belief systems and imported religions reflects broader debates about spirituality and cultural identity in post-colonial African societies. Narrative technique and prose. Achebe's writing style is characterized by its simplicity and clarity. He uses straightforward prose to convey complex themes and emotions, making the novel accessible to a wide range of readers. The incorporation of Igbo proverbs and idioms adds depth to the narrative and emphasizes the cultural richness of the story. Social relevance and literary legacy. No Longer at Ease remains relevant because it explores universal themes such as corruption, moral dilemmas, and cultural identity within a specific African context. Chinua Achebe's body of work, including this novel and Things Fall Apart, is celebrated for its role in reshaping African literature and promoting African voices in the global literary canon. In summary, No Longer at Ease is a multi-layered novel that provides readers with a window into the complexities of post-colonial Nigeria. Its examination of colonial legacy, corruption, cultural conflict, and personal morality continues to resonate, making it a valuable work in the context of both African and world literature. Here's a review of Chinua Achebe's No Longer at Ease. No Longer at Ease, by Chinua Achebe is a compelling and thought-provoking novel that delves deep into the complexities of post-colonial Nigerian society. Achebe's storytelling prowess shines through in this work, which is both a character-driven narrative and a commentary on the broader social and cultural issues facing Nigeria during the transition from colonial rule to independence. The novel's protagonist, Obi Okonkwo, is a well-crafted character who serves as a mirror reflecting the tensions and dilemmas of his time. As a young man educated in England, Obi embodies the clash between tradition and modernity that defined this era. His internal struggle to reconcile his Igbo heritage with his Western education is portrayed with nuance and empathy. One of the novel's standout features is its exploration of corruption. Achebe masterfully depicts the moral descent of Obi as he succumbs to the corrosive influence of bribery and unethical practices within the civil service. This descent is a powerful cautionary tale that sheds light on the pervasive issue of corruption in post-colonial African governments. The cultural conflicts depicted in No Longer at Ease are another strength of the novel. Achebe skillfully portrays the clash between traditional Igbo customs and the influence of Christianity brought by the colonialists. Clara, Obi's love interest, symbolizes the discrimination faced by the Osu caste, highlighting the enduring prejudices in Igbo society. Achebe's writing style is marked by its simplicity and directness, making the novel accessible while conveying profound themes. The incorporation of Igbo proverbs and idioms adds authenticity to the narrative, immersing readers in the rich cultural tapestry of Nigeria. As a part of Chinua Achebe's literary legacy, No Longer at Ease holds a significant place. It not only continues the themes explored in his seminal work, Things Fall Apart, but also stands on its own as a poignant and relevant exploration of identity, corruption, and the complexities of navigating a changing world. In conclusion, No Longer at Ease is a must-read for those interested in African literature, post-colonial studies, and the human condition. Achebe's storytelling prowess and his ability to illuminate universal themes within the specific context of Nigeria make this novel a timeless and enduring work of literature.